16 competitors taking part tonight. And with me, Jan Anderson, going to have a few looks at one or two of the riders in particular in a moment. But let's start off by taking a look at the field. At number 1, Hans Nielsen, of course, the current world champion. At 2, Armando Castagna from Italy. 3, Zoltan Odorian from Hungary. 4, making his debut, Martin Dugard from England. 6 is Roman Matusek. 7, also making his debut from Australia, Todd Wiltshire. At number 8 from America is Ronnie Corrie. And at number 9 there from, number 8 from the USA, Rick Miller from also making his debut. At number 9, Terry Jonsson from Sweden. 10, Zdeněk Tassar from Czechoslovakia. Richard Knight from England is next, also making his debut. Jimmy Nielsen from Sweden rides at number 12. Henrik Gustafsson, also from Sweden, is at number 13. Tony Casper from Czechoslovakia, 14. John Moran from the US of A at 15. And England's bright hope, Calvin Tatum, is at number 16. That's the complete list of the 16 competitors who take part on Saturday, September the 1st in the 1990 World Individual Speedway Championship. Well, there we are, Jan. The scene then is set for what surely must be a great World Individual Speedway final. To start with, do you make Hans Nielsen one of the main Danes that's going to be the big threat here this evening?
Oh yes, he's the favorite. I think all the riders think he's the top man. But there is about 6-7 riders after him that are ready to take over if he do a mistake.
We've got to say that Hans Nielsen has got a very, very impressive record. He's appeared in the last 10 World Finals. That's very, very impressive, isn't it?
Oh, he's so consistent. And of course he's so fast from the start, and that always helps in these big meetings.
You raced with him, of course, in the Swedish league for Vetlanda. Very composed. There we see him on his machine now, Jan. What's going through the minds of those riders now as we're just a couple of minutes away from start time?
Oh, you just want to win that first race. That's so important to win, and you can then relax a bit after that. But that's what I will think now. I must win this first race.
Now, the new boys, they're 6 in all, making their debut in this World Final. Is it fair to say any of them stand a chance of gaining top position in this World Final?
I think Todd Wiltshire, if anybody, because he's very good from the start.
So there we are. We wait then for the 4 riders to come out. It's the first one, and as Jan already says, it's very, very important to get 3 points from the first heat. The 4 lineup is Hans Nielsen is in red, who of course is the current world champion. Armando Castagna from Italy is in blue. From white is Zoltan Odorian from Hungary, and in yellow and black Martin Dugard from England, of course, in gate number 4. Jan, Martin Dugard in gate number 4. To start with, at the early stages of the meeting, what gate would be preferable?
I think 1 and 4 are the 2 best gates up here. So it's going to be interesting to see what Martin Dugard can do up here. I know he has borrowed machinery from Marvin Cox, who rides this track every week, and they're very fast.
So there are the riders now coming out onto the circuit. The first one out is the Hungarian Zoltan Odorian in the white army colour. Armando Castagna in blue. And as Jan says, Hans, the very quick starter, the current world champion in red, goes into gate number 1. And Martin Dugard from England, of course, rides for Hans Nielsen along with Oxford in the Sunbite League. So the riders now coming in to the tapes. The Hans, we see the riders, they're making 1 or 2 indents with their feet as they go into the tapes. Can you explain to the viewers what exactly they're doing?
Well, you want to feel how grippy it is, because it's very important, otherwise your bike can spin too much or it can lift too much. That's very important. And also you see they do some practice start to feel the clutch, but they've all taken the bikes apart since practice to clean them, and now they want to feel the clutch, and they also need to heat the clutch up slightly so it doesn't drag you into the tape.
Well, thanks so much, Jan. There you are, insight into the starting gate procedure. So there we are, the full lineup for this opening race. Heat number 1 of the 1990 World Individual Speedway Final. Hans Nielsen in red. There, the flag of Denmark shows you he's representing the Danish contingent. In blue, gate 2, Armando Castagna from Italy. As the 2-minute warning sounds, and that in speedway terms means that all 4 riders have now got 2 minutes to make it to the line. In white, in gate 3 from Hungary. What a useful competitor. You may recall we saw him in the World Pairs final. Very, very impressive it is. Zoltan Odorian, he goes into gate number 3. And on the outside from England, the young prospect from the Oxford Speedway camp, Martin Dugard, he goes into gate number 4. So all 4 riders now look pretty fit. They've had a few practice starts, they've dug a few holes. And we wait for the starting marshal to call them in for the start of the 1990 World Individual Speedway Final. just about to get underway. The starting marshal is happy. The green light goes on. And the final is underway. And here is the first one to show. It's Hans Nielsen in red. Armando Castagna blue. Martin Dugard and Castagna is down. Armando Castagna is down on the second turn. Nielsen is in front. Dugard second. Adorian third with one lap gone. But it's Hans Nielsen, of course, the reigning world speedway champion, who, it's fair to say, made a good start, but it was entering the first turn where he really picked up momentum. Hans Nielsen red, Martin Dugard yellow-black, Zoltan Adorian in white in third place, and Armando Castagna out of contention as a faller on the second turn. So Hans Nielsen, as Jan said, would just be allowed to get the 3 points from heat number 1. He's got just one more lap to go in this opening race of the 1990 World Individual Speedway Final. Pictures coming exclusively from the cameras of Scrensport. It's Hans Nielsen comes down the final 2 turns. It's Hans Nielsen that takes the checker flag. Second place, Martin Dugard. Third place is Zoltan Adorian. So a great cracking start for the man, the main Dane as they call him, from Denmark. Hans Nielsen gets the 3 points. 2 points and a good start for England's Martin Dugard, who finishes second. And Zoltan Adorian from Hungary picks up the solitary point for third place. And just as we predicted, Jan Andersson, it's Hans Nielsen done the business from the start. But he didn't really pick up momentum until he entered the first turn, did he?
No, he didn't do that good from the start, but he looked impressive after that. You know, he doesn't overslide the bike or anything, just to keep it in line, and he's so fast. But I was very impressed with Martin Dugard.
So there we see a replay of what happens, and we see Armando Castagna trying to make up ground and grinded to a halt, just clipped the footrest of Zoltan Adorian, but he slid so gracefully to there. What do you think happened there, Jan? Just overslid on the wet track?
It's very easily done here in the first turn at Bradford, because it's banked for a while and then it goes flat, and it's very easy to overdo it there.
So the main question there to ask you, Jan, is Hans Nielsen to be praised with life, but what about Martin Dugard in second place? He'd be quite happy, I should imagine.
Oh, he'd be very happy with that. He looked very impressive. His bike was fast. He did a very good first turn, so he will be scoring some points tonight, I'm sure.
There we go then. Hans Nielsen gets the 3 points, Martin Dugard gets the 2, and Zoltan Adorian gets the 1. So the next one on the agenda, Jan, is heat number 2, which features, of course, Roman Matusek red, the wild man, Ronnie Corrie in blue, Todd Wiltshire in white, and Rick Miller in yellow and black. 2 people making their debuts, Todd Wiltshire white, Rick Miller yellow and black. What do you think of those 2 chances, Jan?
Oh, this is a very open race. If Todd can do a good start here and win the race, he'll be dangerous tonight. Also, Rick Miller looked very good in practice, so he'll be dangerous. I don't know about Ronnie Corrie. You don't know about Ronnie Corrie. He made his debut, of course, in '89 in Munich, final which wasn't too impressive to the camera watchers, but nevertheless, he's very experienced in British League racing now, isn't he? He is. He rides down at Wolverhampton. That's a very small track, so I don't know how good he is on this big one. But what about the Rick Miller and the Todd Wiltshire debut boys in this particular heat? You've mentioned Todd Wiltshire. Rick Miller has suddenly come good halfway through the season, hasn't he? Yes, he has been very good in the Swedish League and over here in the British League. And also in the World Team Cup qualifiers, he has been very impressive. So that is going to be very interesting between, I think, Todd and Rick Miller. Do you think the outside gates will be preferably in this particular race? Well, the inside gate, number 1, is the best one, but I don't think Roman Matusek will keep up with these boys. He's a little bit of a wild man, isn't he, Roman Matusek? He certainly entertains the crowd. Yes, he's very popular up at Coventry where he rides. Yeah, it's very good to have on your own team, I think. But not to ride against. No. Well, the wise words of Jan Andersson putting us in perspective about Roman Matusek. Very spectacular to watch. And for the viewers of Scrensport may recall, Roman, of course, taking part in the ice racing during the winter. And I can tell you that Erik Stenlund, of course, the former world individual ice racing champion, is in the stand here at Oslo Stadium. And welcome along to Erik Stenlund. And also with us is the former world individual speedway champion, Henrik Gustafsson, who you may recall just a year ago was tragically injured in a track accident in the World Team Cup final here at the Big Oslo Bowl. It was feared at one stage whether he'd be fighting for his life, whether in actual fact he would survive, but thankfully Erik did. He was magnificent courage he showed, and the determination of the doctors at the Pinnerfields Hospital in Bradford no doubt helped to save his life. And he's with us this evening, and it's nice to see you again, Henrik Gustafsson. Well, we wait for the riders to come out in heat number 2. And as we've already said, Hans Nielsen has already won the opening race, which would be no doubt very pleasing for him, and a good second place for Martin Dugard in yellow and black. Now we've got to mention 1 or 2 things.
Richard Knight is making his debut in the World Final at the age of 31, Jan. It's remarkable, isn't it?
Yes, I think Michael Lee have played a big part in that, helping him with his engine and helping him in the Continental Final, all the preparation there. And it's going to be interesting to see what he can do up there.
It certainly is. From the English point of view, Jan, it's a sad story because we haven't had a world champion since Michael Lee back in 1980. What do you think of the chances this year with Kelvin Tatum in particular?
Kelvin Tatum is very good round here. I think he scored a maximum up here a month or two ago. And of course he's very dangerous today.
He certainly is, and he's probably England's best hope, to be fair, isn't he?
Oh yes.
He certainly is indeed. Well, we're just waiting now for the 4 riders to come out. The crowd's settled in, and it certainly is a packed arena here at the Ulster Stadium. Sadly, due to the Taylor report, the crowd capacity has been cut drastically to just under the 30,000, but I can tell you the crowd is packed in tightly, and the atmosphere is completely and utterly electric. World Individual Speedway Final. As always, the pictures coming exclusively from the hotshot cameraman of Scrensport. Well, we're now ready for heat number 2, which brings Wildman Roman Matusek in the red helmet colour. In blue, the tiny point-sized flyer from Wolverhampton, and of course, Wilsena, Gotland team in the Swedish League. In the white helmet colour, Todd Wiltshire from the Reading 4X Racers in the Sunbright League. And in yellow and black, Rick Miller from the Coventry Bees. And of course, the Mariestad Eagles in the Swedish League. So quite an eventful heat number 2, I'm sure. Matusek doing the traditional gardening, just turning around there. Roman on the back of his leathers. Just to recall, 3 points for win, 2 for second, 1 for third. The machines are 500cc. It's a clutch start, just 1 fixed gear, and something like 65 brake horsepower. The machines terminate. So we're just waiting for the... Do you think that Roman Matusek is having clutch adjustments down there, Jan? Is that what they go back to the pits for?
Yeah, also so when he revved up his bike, the bike was pushing him forward, so it was obviously not hot enough yet.
So there we are. Jan keeping us informed on the technical terms of Speedway as the 4 riders now come into the line for heat number 2 of the 1990 World Individual Speedway Final.
30 seconds.
So from the inside working out in red, Roman Matusek, gate 1. Gate 2 in blue, Ronnie Corrie. Gate 3 white, Todd Wiltshire. Gate 4 yellow and black, Rick Miller. This is heat number 2. Starter marshal just calling him in, settling him at the line. The last one to settle is Roman Matusek. Now they rev as the green light goes on, and the bikes run and away they drive from the start. And the first one to show in wide is Todd Wiltshire. Put in from the 4X Racers to hit the front. It's Wiltshire first in white. Rick Miller yellow and black. Ronnie Corrie blue. With 1 lap completed, it's Todd Wiltshire, Rick Miller, Ronnie Corrie, or Roman Matusek. But my word, when the tapes rose, as Jan Anderson said, it was Todd Wiltshire who really drove from the start. So as they come up to take 2 laps of heat number 2, it's Todd Wiltshire white, Rick Miller yellow and back, making up ground, oh, lifting terribly and losing considerable ground. And now all of a sudden, it's Roman Matusek coming around the outside of Ronnie Corrie. But with 1 lap to go, it's Hot Toddy from the Reading 4X Racers and Australia. It goes down the back straight for the final time. Rick Miller is in second place, Roman Matusek third, but coming round to take the checkered flag and a win is still the world final. Todd Wiltshire the win. Rick Miller second, Roman Matusek third. And my word, in his first ever world final at just 21 years of age, all the way from New South Wales, Bankstown to be precise, it's Todd Wiltshire who gets the 3 points. 2 for Rick Miller in second place, and 1 for Roman Matusek. And Jan Anderson, you ride with this boy, of course, in Reading and Sunbright League, but he certainly made the trap there, didn't he?
Oh yes, I ride with him. I ride number 2 and he number 1, and he's just hard to keep up with.
Just as the tapes rose, he was literally that split second faster than the other 3, wasn't he?
And of course, he will just get better through the night. When the track gets a bit slicker, he will just get better.
So there we are, Jan Anderson filling us in with the views of Todd Wiltshire, who is the winner of that particular heat. It did look as though Ronnie Corrie was suffering from mechanical problems as the race continued, Jan.
Yes, I can see what happened there, but Matusek looked very impressive. He was almost passing Rick Miller here the last corner.
And Rick Miller in his debut World Final, you see the start again, and Todd Wiltshire driving into that first turn, Jan. Great start from Todd Wiltshire. It's fair to say that Rick Miller made up a lot of ground for 2 laps and then all of a sudden lifted terribly on the 3rd lap, didn't he?
Yes, he did a mistake over there, but I can see there's quite a lot of dirt on the track over there, so we probably will see 1 or 2 riders do that.
Todd will be no doubt pleased with those 3 points.
Oh, it's a tremendous start for him, and well, I think he can be very dangerous here tonight. If he can get on the rostrum, of course, that would be great for him.
Well, there we are, Todd Wiltshire with the PD leathers, and of course the engine tuned by good old Peter Johns on the outskirts of London, doing the business for the Reading Forex Racers and Australia in heat number 2. Todd Wiltshire doing the business as he wins heat number 2, and it's fair to say that's just what the young lad from Australia needed in his first ride in a World Individual Speedway final. He's done so remarkably well, Jan, in his first league season.
Yes, and I think also Bradford suits him because these big Australian tracks, he's used to them, so I've seen him up here in league meeting and he's riding this track very well.
Well, there we are, Jan Anderson with his views on Todd Wiltshire. Of course, Jan rides with Todd for the Forex Racers in the Sunbright League. But next on the agenda is heat number 3, and as Jan has already said, it's 2 Swedish riders in white and yellow and black. There we are, Todd Wiltshire 3 points, Rick Miller 2, and Roman Matusek 1, the result of heat number 2. Helping us in the commentary vision tonight, and thanks for his comments. Well, here we go with heat number 3, the 4 riders coming out onto the track. Per Jonsson looked very impressive in practice on Thursday, Jan.
Yes, very fast out of the start, and that's what he needs to do today.
He certainly does indeed. So the riders coming out onto the track, and the full lineup is in red, Zdeněk Tesar from Czechoslovakia. In blue, gate 2 will be Richard Knight from England. Gate 3 in white from Sweden is Per Jonsson. And in gate 4 in yellow and black, also from Sweden, is Jimmy Nielsen. Of course, these two represented Sweden, Jan, in the pairs final recently, so they know all about each other. But today is about individualism, isn't it?
Oh yes, well, they have been riding together since they were 12 years old. They both ride for the Stockholm team, so they know everything about each other.
But today is a different kettle of fish. They're riding for points on individual basis, aren't they?
Oh yes.
They certainly are. No level off today. It's all about winning this heat number 3 of the 1990 World Individual Speedway Final. Pictures coming exclusively from Scrensport, as we just wait for Per Jonsson, who is having last-minute adjustments to his clutch. This is something very common in Speedway, Jan, isn't it? Clutch adjustments.
It's so important to get the clutch, the right temperature on it, and the right strength on it.
There we are, the views of Jan Anderson, the very experienced Jan Anderson, now back into the British League, of course, with the Reading Forex Racers in the Sunbright League after a year's break from the sport. Per Jonsson also did that last year. He's back racing in the British League, and he's in the white helmet colour, coming in to gate number 3. The last one to come in, the other 3 there. So the whole lineup, as we look across the gate 4 heat number 3, Zdeněk Tesar in red, gate number 1. Richard Knight blue, gate 2. Per Jonsson white, gate 3. Jimmy Nielsen yellow and black, gate 4. This is heat number 3. The green light's on, and the bunch red. And the 10th rise, and the first one to show is Jimmy Nielsen and Per Jonsson. It's Jimmy Nielsen from Sweden and for Swindon in the Sunbright League, who's got the drop on Per Jonsson. Jimmy Nielsen first in the yellow and black, Per Jonsson second white, Richard Knight third in blue, but it's Jimmy Nielsen from Stockholm, Bondo to be precise, on the outskirts of Stockholm, who's going down the back straight in pole position. Per Jonsson second, trying to make up ground on the outside, getting back on the inside, but there's not a lot of room there for him. There he's trying to drift up alongside of Jimmy Nielsen. They're getting very, very close now, as we got 1.5 more laps to go of heat number 3. Per Jonsson making up ground on the outside of Jimmy Nielsen, cutting back on the inside, 1 lap to go. Yellow-black helmet colour of Jimmy Nielsen from Sweden. Now by his fellow countryman Per Jonsson with last one-ditch effort from Per Jonsson to drive round or underneath it. Per Jonsson making it, coming very close. The line is Jonsson again there. Per Jonsson gets it on the line. My word, what a race between the two Swedes. Per Jonsson has done the business from the back over Jimmy Nielsen. Third place was Richard Knight, but my word, the crowd's going absolutely crazy. It's Per Jonsson in white, gets to the checker flag in pole position. Second place was Jimmy Nielsen. Third was Richard Knight. And what can you say about that finish, Jan Anderson?
Well, there was just a bit of magic from Per. He can do these sort of things when he's in form.
It just left it to the last bend, and then all of a sudden found that extra bit of grip and drove up the inside.
Oh yeah, it was just magic. But there again, I was pleased to see that Jimmy is fired up. He made a very good start there.
There was a great start for the two Swedish riders. But first in pole position was Per Jönsson in the white helmet colour, so 3 points to Per Jönsson. In second place in yellow and black was Jimmy Nielsen, 2 points to him, and 1 point for the rider in third, Richard Knight. So there we see yet again the two riders, and on the outside it's Per Jönsson there. Let's take us through the move, Jan.
Well, in that last bend, Per went in very wide and went up the bank. You can do that in that third bend, and he just did a tremendous turn.
At this position, Jimmy Nielsen had the race basically at his command, didn't he?
Yes, and of course he left the other two behind. But here I think we come on the last lap now, and oh,
just look at that. That was breathtaking speed, wasn't it, for the connoisseur. Per Jönsson takes the initiative on the final bend to win heat number 3, and my word, what a race for the connoisseur. So it's Per Jönsson who has got the edge over Jimmy Nielsen, also from Sweden, of course. Fellow teammates in the in the Swedish League for Stockholm United. So my word, the breath, we've got to get a breath of fresh air before we hold the start of the next race. But it's Per Jönsson 3 points, Jimmy Nielsen 2, and 1 for Richard Knight in heat number 3. And heat number 4 is next on the agenda, Jan, and it features, of course, Henrik Gustafsson from Sweden, making his debut at just 20 years of age. Is it too much to ask a win from this lad?
I think so. He has a hard first race against Kelvin Tatum here and Sean Moran, but I'm sure he can manage a third place.
Well, there you are, Jan Andersson predicting that Henrik Gustafsson can possibly get third place, but he's on the outside gate, which could be quite a good one for him.
Well, he doesn't look good so far.
So they are, the lineup for heat number 4 brings together Sean Moran and Kelvin Tatum, two of the truly pre-meeting semi-favourites, so to speak. Sean Moran is in red, of course, from the USA, winner of the Intercontinental Final in Fielstead, Denmark. In blue is Tony Casper from Czechoslovakia. He comes in as a replacement for the injured Gert Riss from Germany. He goes into gate number 2. In white, England's great hope for a world champion from the Coventry Bees, and that, of course, is Kelvin Tatum. And in yellow and black from Sweden is Henrik Gustafsson. Well, there we go. Gustafsson is the youngest man in the field at just 20. Richard Knight is the oldest at 31. Kelvin Tatum, just for the record books, is 26. Sean Moran, 28. Tony Casper, 27. And Gustafsson, 20. So a wise head on very young shoulders. But yet again, the riders having a little bit of machinery adjustments before we get underway with heat number 4. But no doubt, heat number 3 so far, and the pick of the bunch. Heat number 3 so far, the best race.
Oh, yes. But it will be more of it, I'm sure.
Well, here we go then for heat number 4. And the red helmet colour going into gate number 1 is Sean Moran. And Sean, a very good starter as well, Jan, isn't he?
Yes, he had a 15-point maximum last week in the World Team qualifier in Sweden.
Yet again, peaking at the right time, isn't he?
Yes.
So across the gate for heat number 4, in red in gate 1 is Sean Moran. In gate 2 in blue is Tony Casper. In gate 3 in white is Kelvin Tatum. And in yellow-black, in gate 4, Henrik Gustafsson. So that's the lineup for heat number 4. Starting marshal calling them in. He's happy. The bike's now red. And the green light goes on. And heat number 4 is about to get underway right now. They try for the start. And the first to show is Sean Moran in white, in red. And Kelvin Tatum. And just look at Gustafsson go. Look at Henrik Gustafsson fly around the pack. Henrik Gustafsson in yellow-black just picked up the momentum and drove round the pack with one lap gone. It's Henrik Gustafsson from, of course, Mariestad in the Swedish League. Kelvin Tatum second in white. Sean Moran third in red. And my word, at the moment in time, it's Sweden. All eyes are on the Swedish riders. 2 laps gone. Henrik Gustafsson in first place. Kelvin Tatum second. Sean Moran third. And Henke can't afford to make a mistake now as Kelvin Tatum comes up to put a bit of pressure on him. With 1 more lap to go. Yellow-black is Gustafsson. White is Kelvin Tatum. Gustafsson dressed out a little bit wide. Has Tatum got the speed? He hasn't. Henke Gustafsson, can he hold on for one last bend-ditch effort from Kelvin Tatum? It's going to be a race tonight, but Gustafsson is got there for Sweden. Second place is Kelvin Tatum. Third place is Sean Moran. And my word, the record books are going out of the window. The form books are going. because Henrik Gustafsson and Calvin Tatum looks over his shoulder. He's not going to shake his hands. Well, Calvin, you've got to learn the hard way to make the gate, and it was Henrik Gustafsson who drove around the pack to get the 3 points. 2 to Calvin Tatum and 1 to Sean Moran. And Jan Andersson, what a brave ride for the 20-year-old.
He did a tremendous first turn there. He is the wonder boy of Sweden. I mean, he's right behind Per and Jimmy now, and he's going to be interesting the rest of the night.
He certainly is indeed. So the winner of heat number 4, Henrik Gustafsson, he gets the 3 points. Second place was Calvin Tatum, he gets the 2 points, and Sean Moran gets the 1 point for third place. So my word, what some breathtaking speedway we have for you here at the Untitled Stadium, where Screensport comes live to bring exclusive coverage of the 1990 World Individual Speedway Final. So there's the score so far after 4 heats. The 4 winners, Hans Nielsen, Todd Wiltshire, Per Jönsson and Henrik Gustafsson, and the 4 second places go to Martin Dugard, Rick Miller, Jimmy Nielsen and Calvin Tatum. So 1 or 2 surprises already, Jan, really.
Yes, Henrik Gustafsson has been a surprise. Of course, he's out in the next race again from the inside gate. It's going to be very interesting to see what he can do, if he could win that race as well.
So meeting a few surprises so far. So there we are, the cameras of Screensport, and it's the 4 riders who are unbeaten. Hans Nielsen, Todd Wiltshire, Per Jönsson and Henrik Gustafsson. So there we are. Join us for more Speedway after the break and the 1990 World Individual Speedway Final from Bradford. Trot, he goes into gate number 1 in red. Hans Nielsen, another winner, he's in blue, he's already out onto the circuit. Roman Matusek in white, he will go into gate number 3. And the previous winner from the back, Per Jönsson, is in yellow and black. Now, Jan, Per is on the outside this time, Hans is on gate 2. What do you think of those starting positions?
Well, it's Hans' problem here really, because he got Per on the outside. He can't just concentrate on him, taking him wide, because he got Henrik Gustafsson on the inside. So this is going to be very interesting to see what happens.
It's going to be a difficult race for him, isn't it? Certainly is. Well, Hans Nielsen certainly got something to think about in heat number 5, and it's all about World Championship points. Points make prizes, and the prize tonight, of course, is the £4,000 cheque for the World Individual Speedway Champion at the end of heat number 20, subject, of course, to a runoff. With the 4 riders now out on the circuit, the last one to come in is Roman Matusek. That surely must be Per Jönsson's only worry, is Roman Matusek on the inside of him.
I don't think that will worry him too much, because Per will get the first turn before him.
So there we are, Jan selecting that Per will be there before him. We'll have to wait and see now as the riders call into the tapes. Henrik Gustafsson, Hans Nielsen, Roman Matusek and Per Jönsson is the lineup for heat number 5 of the 1990 World Individual Speedway Championship. Starting marshal just calling in Hans Nielsen. Waiting for the pole to come onto the start in tapes, which stops them blowing around in the breeze. And the starting marshal asking Henrik Gustafsson to move over. Is that a fair comment to ask him?
Yes, he was very much into the white line there, so he had to move over.
So there we are, starting marshal now happy, calling Per Jönsson in. He's the last one to go in. So we're about to get underway with heat number 5. The tapes rise, they didn't go on the inside. So heat number 5 is to be started again. The red light is on, and it's stopped with Per Jönsson in pole position, which no doubt will upset Per, but the starting gate just didn't go up at all, Jan, did it?
No.
So the starting gate didn't rise, a malfunction of the starting gate, which means a restart of heat number 5 with all 4 riders. So we'll just see if this tapes will rise this time. The starting marshal asking the referee to try them again. No problems on the second staging. And I should think Per Jönsson is kicking his luck, Jan, at that moment, because he was in front, wasn't he?
Yes, but of course the tape just went up on the outside where he was. It would be a different story now.
It certainly will indeed. So looking there at the 4 riders who have a chance just to recapture their thoughts now, Jan. What do you think is going through their minds as the second staging of heat number 5 is just about to get underway?
Well, the big worries now is the clutch. He might have got too hot. I see they're checking it out, they're feeling it, and if it's too hot, you might
Here we
burn
see
it
the
out.
start again of heat number 5, and let's just watch what happens. And as you quite rightly say, poor Henrik Gustafsson just had nowhere to go, did he, Jan?
But still, Hans didn't look to the inside. He looked straight on, and the tape went up. So it just proved that Per can probably make it.
He certainly can. He certainly made a good gate indeed. So, riders are just having 1 or 2 last-minute adjustments. Henrik Gustafsson with his father down on the trackside, asking for 1 or 2 things from his colleagues in the pits. One of the most sought-after riders in the world today, not yet competing in Britain, but no doubt he's British League bound in 1991. Fill them after every race, Jan?
Yes, but of course you can do 1 lap like they've done now without refueling.
Without refueling. Beijing of a 2-day event, and then he lost it in '88 in Voyens, Denmark, and recaptured it in Munich last year to make it 3. So this would be his 4th world final if he were to achieve that feat by about 9:30 this evening. But he's still got 4 more rides to go, this being one of them. And the 4 more riders are now under the 2-minute time allowance from the referee. View practice starts, see if the clutch is okay. Hans Nielsen going into gate number 2. So far, it's been a good start from the gates on the outside gates white and yellow and black, gates 3 and 4. Wait and see as the dirt moves out whether gates 1 and 2 will come into their own in the latter stages of the World Final. Well, the magnificent setting of the Ulster Stadium in England, of course, is the home of the Bradford Coal-Light Dukes in the Sunbright League, so conventional speedway does in actual fact take place here, Hans, which is a good thing, isn't it? A lot of venues for World Finals don't have competitive racing.
No, because up here the riders get to ride it a bit and they know what it's all about. Of course, there is 1 or 2 riders that haven't never been up here. Henrik Gustafsson has never ridden this track before. So a remarkable win for him in heat number 4, having never seen the place before practice day on Thursday. So the 4 riders coming into the start. The starting marshal getting a little bit anxious, and quite rightly so. So it's Henrik Gustafsson red, gate 1, Hans Nielsen blue, gate 2, Roman Matusek white, gate 3, and Per Jonsson yellow and black, gate 4. Heat number 5. The green light's on. And away they drive from the start, and Gustafsson gets a great start from red. It's Henrik Gustafsson in red, who holds the pack. Per Jonsson in yellow and black goes down the outside of it. Henrik Gustafsson and Per Jonsson over Hans Nielsen in 3rd place. But it's Per Jonsson yellow and black. Henrik Gustafsson 2nd place at the moment. Hans Nielsen is in 3rd place. And Henrik Gustafsson hold on to 2nd place. Hans Nielsen is back in 3rd. Per Jonsson might work on a tremendous ride in yellow black from gate 4. 2 laps gone. It's Jonsson that leads. Gustafsson is 2nd. Hans Nielsen 3rd. Roman Matusek back in 4th place. And Hans Nielsen was worried about this race. Is Jan Anderson sounded quite rightly so. With 1 more lap to go, and Per Jonsson with his nose in front. His fellow countryman Henrik Gustafsson 2nd. Hans Nielsen 3rd. And this could be what we all thought. Perhaps Hans Nielsen's final hour in World Speedway title. But it's Per Jonsson that wins. Henrik Gustafsson 2nd. Hans Nielsen 3rd. So it is Per Jonsson who gets the 3 points. Henrik Gustafsson gets the 2. And Hans Nielsen, who has to be settled with the 1 point. And the upsets are ringing loud and clear in Ulster Stadium on Saturday, September the 1st. And this time it's Per Jonsson who gets the 3 points. Henrik Gustafsson gets the 2. And Hans Nielsen gets the 1. And Jan Anderson, yet another cracking race from Per Jonsson. Yes, they all sort of locked together there before the first turn. And Per was just lucky to get the break.
Per Jonsson 2 for Henrik Gustafsson and 1 for Hans Nielsen. And you were quite right in saying Hans Nielsen had plenty to worry about in heat number 5.
Oh yes, and he knew it.
Now, with dropping 2 points, Jan, do you think that subsequently knocks him off the pole position in the World Final? Or is Henrik Gustafsson with his nose in front, but it was round the outside as the cameras continued. Per Jonsson in white, gate 3, and Todd Wiltshire in yellow and black in gate number 4. So 2 Czechoslovakians, an Italian and 1 lone Australian, as the tapes rise on heat number 6 of this World Individual Speedway Championship coming from Scrensport. We always bring you the best possible coverage of the world's most fast and furious sport. Bikes on ice during the winter and bikes on shale during the summer months. And this is the climax of the shale season for the individual riders. We've still got the team final to go from part of it's in Czechoslovakia. Another meeting you can see exclusively here on Scrensport later in September. Now this one is all about the individual crowns. And heat number 6 is the next one on the agenda. Starting marshal just checking on the rider in red, Tony Casper. So the green light now goes on, the bike's red. And they're held for a very long time, and away they drive from the start. It is the first one to show. It is Amanda Castagna, Todd Wiltshire in yellow-black. Todd Wiltshire, yellow-black, has got his nose in front and the back straight. Second place in white is Armando Castagna. In third place in red is Tony Casper, but with 1 lap gone, it's Super Todd from, of course, Australia. There in the back straight, gently look cool and collected. Amanda Castagna from Italy second. Tony Casper third from Czechoslovakia. 2 laps gone. Really, Todd is setting the pace in this one and looking to have things in control at the moment. Todd Wiltshire coming round to take the flag for 1 more lap in heat number 6. Wiltshire in first place, second place Castagna, third place Tony Casper, fourth is Henrik Gustafsson. Now all of a sudden Casper making up a bit of ground for the minor positions, but there's no doubt about the man in front who's coming up to take that second place. It's Todd Wiltshire to win. Second place is Amanda Castagna. Third place in the red helmet colour is Tony Casper. So my word, Todd Wiltshire yet again showing that he can do what he's best at, and that's starting from pole position, and he drove really around the pack on the first turn. So 3 points to Todd Wiltshire in heat number 6, 2 points for Amanda Castagna and 1 for Tony Casper. My word, what a great race again from Todd Wiltshire, Jan.
Yeah, he's looking good. And as I said, he would get better through the evening when the track gets a bit slicker.
Todd Wiltshire gets the 3 points, 2 for Amanda Castagna and 1 for Tony Casper in third place. And Henrik Gustafsson gets 0 for finishing fourth place. So there we see. What do you think is going through at the moment, Jan?
Oh, he'll be so pleased. I mean, your first one, or you just want to win 1 race if possible, because now he has won 2.
In the red helmet colour, gate 1. Sean Moran, America. In the blue helmet colour, gate 2. Ronnie Corrie in the white helmet colour from America, gate number 3. And Zoltan Odorian in yellow-black from Hungary in gate number 4. That's the full lineup for heat number 7 of the 1990 World Individual Speedway Final. Starting marshal calling them in. Just waiting for Ronnie Corrie. And several riders with a lot of room to pick up in this particular heat. Heat number 7. And the green light goes on, the bike's red. And away they drive at the start, didn't go up again. Gate positions 1 and 2 were affected, but the referee has not stopped the race. Well, my word, Jan, I was a little bit surprised about that.
Yes, he stopped.
Going absolutely crazy at this particular situation. It's Ronnie Corrie who leads. From the man in second place is also the joy, but the tapes, to my mind, didn't rise, Jan, did they, you?
Well, I don't know what you're going to do about this.
Well, the crowd going absolutely crazy for the referee, and quite rightly so, because this race has surely got to be stopped, because the tapes on the inside just did not go up correctly. But we're coming round and the starting marshal is looking up, and he's giving the flag for 1 more lap. Controversy in the World Final is Ronnie Corrie leads. Zoltan Odorian second, and the man in blue is Richard Knight. Sean Moran, should I say, in third place is Richard Knight, who's suffering from it. But it's going to be Ronnie Corrie that wins. Second place is Zoltan Odorian. In third place in blue is Sean Moran, and the crowd going absolutely crazy. That surely cannot stand, because the man in red was robbed at the start when the tapes didn't rise correctly. We'll have to wait and see now, because surely the 1990 World Final is going to have just a little bit. And my word, those tapes just did not rise. They did not rise from gate. They did not rise at all, sir, and the referee for the second and hopefully final staging of heat number 7. There's the caption. In red, gate 1, Richard Knight, England. Gate 2, America, blue, Sean Moran. Gate 3, Ronnie Corrie, white, America. Gate 4, Zoltan Odorian, Hungary, yellow and black. That's the full lineup for the restaging of heat number 7. Starting marshal calling them in. The traditional gardening being done by the 4 riders. Starting marshal's now happy. The green light goes on, the bike's red. And away they drive from the side of the first to show is Sean Moran in blue. Sean Moran and Richard Knight comes underneath him. There's Sean Moran in blue. Richard Knight second, Ronnie Curry white, and Zaltzman and Orlean back in fourth place. There Ronnie Curry coming out to put pressure on Richard Knight, but Sean Moran is clear of the pack at the moment. Well, just when we said he was looking a little bit suspect, pint-sized Sean Moran comes up and treats us to a flyer from the start. Sean Moran with 2 laps gone in blue, Richard Knight red in second place, Ronnie Curry white in third, and Ronnie Curry no doubt cursing his luck to have to see this race restage, but the fairness to you, Ronnie, it was only fair. Coming round to take the flag for one more lap of heat number 7. Sean Moran blue, Richard Knight red, Ronnie Curry in white, round the final 2 bends, and Richard Knight's going to get 2 well-earned points if he can hold on, but it's Sean Moran who takes the checkered flag. Richard Knight second, and Ronnie Curry is third. So Sean Moran comes back to the thick of things with a good win, basically from the start, but that's the easy way of doing Speedway. And 2 good points to Richard Knight, who was second, and 1 point for Ronnie Curry back in third. So it was a good win for Sean Moran, just as we said he was struggling a bit, Jan.
Yeah, he had an absolute flyer there.
He did indeed. And Sean Moran just got the 1 point, so he's back on 4 points after 2 races, and well, like Hans Nielsen, he's not out of things yet. Well, heat number 8 is the next one now on the agenda of this 1990 World Individual Speedway Championship, coming from the blue for the USA. Gate 3 in white for Sweden, Jimmy Nielsen, and Gate 4 in yellow and black for England is Calvin Tatum. So Tatum in Gate 4 is Jan Andersson's choice. Jimmy Nielsen in white. Well, I think Jimmy Nielsen could be very, very dangerous in Gate 3 in this one, but to my reckoning, Drain Sport at its finest, and this is heat number 8. And away they go from the start, and the first one to show in the blue helmet colour is Rick Miller in blue, Martin Dugard is well, but it's Miller just with a Tatum drive round the inside. Tatum in yellow and black, what a courageous and good ride for Calvin Tatum. Second place in blue is Rick Miller, third in red is Martin Dugard, but now Jimmy Nielsen comes underneath Dugard, but Dugard's got the drive round the outside of him. Jimmy Nielsen sadly trailing off at the moment, but now comes back under Martin Dugard. That's where the battle lies. Dugard still in third position. Can Nielsen do anything from the inside? Comes up alongside Martin Dugard. Still is Tatum in first place. Rick Miller second. Jimmy Nielsen third. Martin Dugard fourth. 1 more lap to go in heat number 8. There's Calvin Tatum in the yellow helmet colour. Second place in blue is Rick Miller. Third in white is Jimmy Nielsen. And it's coming in for England. Calvin Tatum the win. Second place for the USA, Rick Miller. Third place for Sweden is Jimmy Nielsen. So a great win for Calvin Tatum from the US of A. From England. Second place Calvin Tatum. Third place was Jimmy Nielsen, who worked his way from the back over Martin Dugard. But a good scrap and a good win for England for Calvin Tatum, and just what the doctor ordered for Calvin, wasn't it, Jan? League, Todd Wiltshire and Per Jonsson both on 6 points, Henrik Gustafsson and Calvin Tatum on 5, and Hans Nielsen, Rick Miller and Sean Moran on 4. What's your reckonings, Jan?
Oh, well, what can I say? Kelvin had a good win here, but now he's up against Hans in the next race.
So something's got to give. So there we are, the caption board says, from Australia. Gate number 2 in blue for England is Calvin Tatum on 5 points. In Gate 3 in white from Denmark on 4 points, Hans Nielsen. And in yellow and black in Gate 4 on the outside from England is Richard Knight. Richard on 3 points. So it's all and something to give in this particular race. We've watched Todd Wiltshire's gating, which has been absolutely superb. We've watched Hans Nielsen's gating, which has been electric as well. And as Jan Andersson says, Calvin Tatum is also a mean starter in World Speedway. But those 3 off of the inside, is Richard Knight really out of reckoning in this one, Jan, to be fair?
I don't think so, because I'm sure Hans is going to want the wide line on that first bend, so I don't think there's going to be much room for Richard.
So there we are, wait to see what Richard Knight's tactics are going to be, because as Jan says, Hans will be driving out for the dirt, so Richard Knight may be forced to cut back into the pack. But we'll wait and see now as the starting marshal calls them into the line for the start of heat number 9 of the 1990 World Individual Speedway Final. Well, it's all a battle of nerves. Of course, Hans Nielsen has been in this position before. 30 years of age, in his 11th World Final. Remarkable record. Kelvin Tatum, 26. This is his fifth World Final appearance. And Todd Wiltshire on the inside in his first, along with Richard Knight also in his first. He gave him a 4. So psychology is now over, and it's heat number 9, which is about to get underway. Here's the green light goes on. And away they drive from the start, and the first one to show is Kelvin Tatum. Kelvin Tatum shows first. Hans Nielsen and Todd Wiltshire second and third, but it's Hans Nielsen that gets there. Hans Nielsen now coming under. Kelvin Tatum takes him right up to the fence. Nielsen comes through, so does Todd Wiltshire, and Kelvin Tatum is relegated to the back. So Hans Nielsen's manoeuvre has put Todd Wiltshire back through, and Richard Knight coming into the reckoning now as well. Hans Nielsen, like a breath of fresh air, drives the sketch gap that was almost non-existent on the third and fourth turn of lap 1. We'll talk about that after the race and no doubt see that in detail. But Kelvin Tatum is left to pick up the pieces, trailing in the wake in heat number 9. One more lap to go. Hans Nielsen wins, leads. Todd Wiltshire second, Richard Knight third. Kelvin Tatum, whose World Final dreams are now over beyond any shadow of doubt. Coming in fourth place for his Hans Nielsen wins. Todd Wiltshire second, Richard Knight third. And my word, a race that will be talked about for a long, long time in World Speedway. Hans Nielsen drives around the pack on the first and second turn, sees that Kelvin Tatum is in front of him, and then does the impossible on the third and fourth turn, drives underneath Kelvin Tatum and collects the 3 points. Well, Jan Anderson, a remarkable off heat number 9 as we see Hans Nielsen gets the 3 points, 2 for Todd Wiltshire, 1 for Richard Knight, and 0 for Kelvin Tatum. And we have to say that Kelvin Tatum's dream of world champion is probably ended in that race, Jan. Roman Matusek. Gate 3 from America in white, Sean Moran. In gate 4 from Hungary in yellow-black, from Italy in yellow-black is Armando Castagna. So that's the full lineup for heat number 10 of this 1990 World Individual Speedway Final. As the dust begins to settle here and the lights glare down on this vast bowl at Odsal Stadium, pictures coming live from the crew of Scrensport, who always bring you the best possible coverage of this most dangerous and spectacular sport in the world today. No brakes, 500cc machines, of course, giving something like 65 brake horsepower, 180-degree bends with no brakes at speeds of 60 to 70 miles an hour. It's not a sport for the faint-hearted. It's the starting marshal calls them in to the line. It's Matusek, the last one to show. We wait for the green light to go on, which it does now. The green light is on. And away they drive from the start, and Sean Moran gets a flyer from gate 3. Sean Moran white, Jimmy Nielsen red, and in yellow and black it is Armando Castagna comes round the outside of Jimmy Nielsen. So Sean Moran, oh, and Jimmy Nielsen drives underneath Castagna. Good ride from Jimmy Nielsen, but Castagna's still there. Jimmy Nielsen in red, in second place, now with a little bit of breathing space over Castagna. Can he triumph all back the distance between him and Sean Moran? 2 laps gone of heat number 10. Sean Moran white, Jimmy Nielsen red, Armando Castagna yellow-black, and Roman Matusek in blue, with one more lap of heat number 10. And Sean Moran, after a very tough first outing, which was in heat number 4, when the point-sized Californian just got 1 point, is now hit back with 2 race wins if he can hold on. So Sean Moran comes out to take the second bracket for the wins. Jimmy Nielsen second, and Armando Castagna, which holds on to third place. So a good win from America in the white helmet colour for Sean Moran. The second place in red from Sweden was Jimmy Nielsen, and in third in blue from Italy was Roman Matusek. So my word, Jan Anderson, Sean Moran has certainly come back to form with a bang since we sort of questioned his ability after his first tough ride. 0 for Roman Matusek, and it's fair to say that Castagna and Matusek are out of contention, but very much Sean Moran and to some extent Jimmy Nielsen still in with rostrum places in the sport. As we see the start again, very important start, Jan, with Sean Moran getting a great start, wasn't it? Picked up drive as he entered the turn.
Yes, it looks like the 2 outside guys have been the best all night, actually.
They certainly have. And then in yellow and black, trying to make up ground was Castagna. And it was this point where Jimmy Nielsen decided to have a go, wasn't it?
Yes, here he comes. And then he drifts out wide to block the way for Castagna, and that's a very clever move.
Very brave move and a clever move from Jimmy Nielsen. Sean Rand looks over his shoulder with one lap gone, sees the battle going on behind him, but he's got the race at his control at that stage, hasn't he, Jan?
Oh yes, and he's very fast around here.
Of course, rides for Bellevue in the Sunbright League, which is literally 20-odd miles or so down the M62, and knows every inch of this Odsal track. So Sean Rand coming through to take the checker flag. Jimmy Nielsen holds on to second place. Couldn't quite make up the ground to get the first place, Jimmy, could he?
No, he's, well, I don't know what it is, the bike, he just didn't catch him. He was trying hard.
He was trying hard, and the main thing is at that stage, and in this class of field, Jan, it's not only trying to catch the guy in front of you, but also to keep the one behind you there, isn't it?
Yes, I think Jimmy knew after 2 laps that he only had Sean to worry about at the front.
So there we go, as they enter the final lap of this race. Sean Rand really in control of things as he coasts down the back straight. Jimmy Nielsen now, as Jan says, settled with what surely is a good second place. With 1 lap to go, Sean Rand coasting, knowing full well he's got the race in his control. Down the back straight for the final time. It's this time, Jan, in a race when you think, just keep that bike going, isn't it?
Well, you don't think so much about the bike when you're racing because you can't. You have to concentrate. Especially at these tracks, it's so fast. You don't want to lift or anything like that in the corners. You have to concentrate on that. You can't think about, oh, I wonder if my bike is going to go. No, I don't think he will be thinking that. But in the last race, if you are going to, if you are winning the world final, you might think, yeah, I hope he stays together now, but not.
That gate 4 from Czechoslovakia is Tony Casper. Well, Per Jonsson has got to psych himself up for this race because it is a big one, but it also means he hasn't been out for several races, Jan, has he? No. You're ready to go as the green light goes on. The rider in red, very anxious to get away. Rick Miller keeps pushing the tape, but away they drive, and it's Rick Miller and Per Jonsson. Rick Miller red, Per Jonsson blue, and Rick Miller has got the edge at the moment over Per Jonsson, and round the outside in yellow and black also comes Tony Casper from nowhere. So Per Jonsson drives back underneath Tony Casper. Has he got the speed? Per Jonsson with all the work to do in heat number 11. There he takes the outside line, but Casper's still with him. He's now shaking him off. Per Jonsson with the outside line, trying to make the challenge now on Rick Miller. 2 laps gone of the 1990 World Individual Speedway Final, heat number 11. Rick Miller in red, Per Jonsson blue. And my word, Jonsson is set for another burst. Is he? He's got just over 1 lap to do it. Red is Rick Miller, blue is Per Jonsson. The last lap of heat number 11. Jonsson trying to drive down the outside. Has he got the speed? He's now cutting up the inside. It's the last 2 turns of heat number 11. Rick Miller red, Per Jonsson blue. It's going to be a race to line, but Rick Miller's done it. Rick Miller's done it. Rick Miller from the USA has won heat number 11. Per Jonsson is in second place. Third place, way back in yellow and black, was Anton Casper. So, my word, Jan Anderson, there's going to be no unbeaten rider in this World Final, that's for sure.
Well, he was trying hard up here, wasn't he?
He certainly was on a 15-point maximum, so all of us predicted that, and that's going to be the score now. But congratulations to Rick Miller. It's certainly line up for heat number 12 as we look across the gate. In red from Sweden is Henrik Gustafsson. Gate 2 in blue from England, Martin Dugard. Gate 3 in white from Czechoslovakia, Zelenik Tatar. And on the outside, in yellow and black from the US of A, Ronnie Corey. This is heat number 12. And your prediction on this one, Jan?
Well, we don't know about Martin Dugard. But I hope Henrik will get away. But of course, he got the inside gate and it hasn't looked very good.
But Rick Miller proved us wrong in the last race. He did get a good gate, didn't he?
He did. And it's going to be interesting to see what Ronnie Curry does from the outside.
So there we are, 1 or 2 points to look for. Henrik Gustafsson from the inside in gate 1 and Ronnie Corey from the outside in gate 4. Those are the 2 to watch as the tapes rise on heat number 12. So riders now go into the interval stage after this one. It's time for the break. And time then to look at the calculators. The riders then can look down at their final 2 outings to know exactly what they've got to do to pick up the tag of World Champion. This is heat number 12. which is Henrik Gustafsson, which is a little bit of surprise. Martin Dugard is there as well. But it's the right time into the Henrik Gustafsson who holds the pack. Henrik Gustafsson second, Ronnie Curry third, Martin Dugard fourth. A little bit of surprise, Jan, to say the least, of the rider in front.
This is a big surprise. You can see what Henrik can do about this.
And also coming through in yellow black is Ronnie. Oh my word! Curry takes out Henrik Gustafsson in yellow and black. I will no doubt be excluded. We wait to see the light which one goes on. But it's Henrik Gustafsson which is pushed into the safety fence. The race, heat number 12, will be a rerun. The red light straight on. So we wait to see which light it is, which is going to be, it's yellow light. That of Ronnie Curry is excluded, quite rightly so. He brought Henrik Gustafsson off. We just wait and see what happens. We see Henrik on the track at the moment. We keep our fingers crossed. Wasn't that nasty a fall, but Henrik Gustafsson on his feet, Jan, good to see.
Yeah, that's a very fast part of the track there, but he didn't hit the fence too hard. I just thought...
see it again in slow motion, Jan, and takes his foot away, yes? Ronnie Curry comes in and he just takes his foot away.
Yeah. Well, this is the sort of thing that happens in World Final, because you got to try 100%. I just hope Gustafsson has a good spare bike now to come out on.
Certainly hope so. And there he is with his father, and of course the Swedish team manager, Bo Verbrand. But it's all now. It's harmless looking falls, but they're the ones sometimes which can cause the injury, aren't they?
Yes.
You see the race again, Jan, as the tapes rise on heat number 12. And at that stage, Henrik lifts terribly, and it's the surprise man, Henrik Gustafsson, who hits the back straight and really rode a tremendous line, didn't he, Jan?
Yes, here we go.
And here's the scrap for second and third place. Henrik Gustafsson in red. Ronnie Curry is in yellow and black. And they come round for the second lap. On this stage, Henrik Gustafsson is now drove underneath Ronnie Curry.
Yes.
Now trying to get his sights set on Tassar, isn't he?
So he goes...
on the outside?
Yeah, he goes quite wide to get some drive, and of course Ronnie Curry comes on the inside.
And then from that moment onwards, it's ups and down goes Henrik Gustafsson in a cloud of shale.
Yeah, Ronnie Curry was a bit unlucky there, because he just...
be Henrik Gustafsson. In blue, in gate 2, from England, is Martin Dugard. In white, from Czechoslovakia, in gate 3, the sensation of the first stage of this race, is Henrik Gustafsson. We'll just have to wait and see, Jan, whether he can make another electric start like that.
Well, I think this is all to Martin Dugard's advance. I think he might go out and win the race now.
I think so. Two starters only for the restart of heat number 12. Darcy Marshall calling them in. Green light goes on. And away they drive from the start, and Gustafsson gets a good one. Gustafsson again, but Henrik Gustafsson from gate 3. It's yet again surprised the pundits with a great drive around the first and second turn. Now we see whether Gustafsson can pick him off. White Tassar, red Gustafsson, blue is Martin Dugard. My word. Something surely got to give. Can Tassar hold on for another 2.5 laps? Then Gustafsson trying the outside line, cutting back underneath. Tassar, has he got the drive? 2 laps gone. Henrik Gustafsson making up tremendous ground on Tassar, but coming under pressure now from Martin Dugard. He's got to be so careful on this race, because he can't afford to lose any more points, but he's got to be so careful of losing them as well. It's the last lap of heat number 12. It's BZ's Henrik Tassar, and Henrik Gustafsson now trying his last-ditch effort. Henrik Gustafsson then drives underneath. Henrik Tassar, look at him drive. Henrik Gustafsson just straight and takes a checkered flag. In second place is Henrik Tassar. In third place is Martin Dugard. And that's what the British fans have yet to witness. The tremendous skill of this young 20-year-old from Kumla in Sweden. It's Henrik Gustafsson who wins heat number 12. Second place is Henrik Tassar. In third place is Martin Dugard. And Jan Andersson is a Swedish rider. What can you say about that?
Oh, that was a bit of magic. But I tell you what, I think there will be 9 British promoters hanging over him later on and want him here for next year.
I'm sure you're right on that one. Henrik Gustafsson, he really... Let's just take another look at that move. Because at this stage, he saw one little gap behind, didn't he, and went for it.
Yes, he left a little gap for him there, and Oh, he looks so good on the bike, doesn't he?
Yes, doesn't he just? What control for a 20-year-old. And he lifts terribly, Jan, but he's in control still, isn't he?
Full control.
No problems whatsoever. Look, he race to the line, and Gustafsson gets it. 3 riders on 8 points. Todd Wiltshire, Per Jonsson and Henrik Gustafsson. 3 on 7, Hans Nielsen, Rick Miller and Sean Moran. 2 on 5, Jimmy Nielsen and Calvin Tatum. And it just couldn't be closer, could it, Jan?
No, this is very exciting.
This is probably one of the most exciting World Finals you're going to see for several years. It certainly knocked spots off of the boring procession we saw in Munich last year. This is racing for the connoisseur on a well-prepared track. We must mention the track because it really looks good, Jan, doesn't it?
It does, and this 3rd and 4th bend is
heat number 12, Jan, and this was a cracker, wasn't it?
Yes, Tessar made the start again, and Henrik Gustafsson is all over him. But Henrik has the problem of Dugard pushing him as well from behind all the way this race, so he couldn't really get the line he wanted.
It's what we said earlier, Jan, the fact that you can't afford to make a mistake while trying to pass somebody and leaving a gap for somebody to come from behind.
Yes, but Henrik is definitely going for a win here because he's trying everything. He leaves plenty of room on the inside there. So if Dugard was with him, he might have, tried to do it. But here again, Henrik comes and he got so much drive. His front wheel is almost up in the air all the time a bit. He's hanging on a back mudguard.
Now that's 2 laps gone, Jan. At this stage, Martin Dugard came back into it, didn't he?
Yes, but that was because Henrik had to try a different line to see whether to decide to make a move. There he goes really wide. But he turns back in again. Maybe he should have tried to go all the way around him.
This is the magical moment coming up, Jan. We're seeing now the 2 riders getting very, very close.
He's a very fair rider, Henrik Gustafsson. He never push anybody around, he only go past if you get a nice...
Martin Dugard gets very, very close there, doesn't he? That stage.
Yes.
Henrik keeps his cool, now decides the outside line and a bit faster is the only way to do it. Goes out wide, and at this stage he's looking for the outside, then cut sharp.
And then turn back. He didn't make it this time, but now the last lap here.
And what's going through his mind at this moment, Jan?
Well, he's just looking at that guy's back wheel and thinking, where shall I get him? Inside, outside? Here he goes. His front wheel is up in the air, and he just dives in there. But he didn't push him wide, he just kept
no contact whatsoever, was it? Just look at this kid as he rises in the air. They're still in control of that bike, Jan. It's marvellous to watch, wasn't it, eh?
Yes.
So there we are, Henrik Gustafsson winning heat number 12, and really, as Jan has already said, there must be 9 British League promoters all there with just 8 each to go.
Well, they got all the pressure on them now on 8 points there. Of course, Todd has done very well. Per Jonsson, I think it was good to him to drop a point because he might have been relaxed too.
Gone into too much detail, just explain a few things about the 500cc speedway bike. As you can see, it's built up in a very light tube frame. It's got no suspension on the back, only the suspension on the forks, which is used for the lifting at the start, just to absorb the pressure on the forks. This particular bike is a Gotten bike, which is produced and built in England. It's got 500cc and has got 4 valves in the head of it. It produces something like 65 horsepower, brakes horsepower, which is then transferred out through the clutch onto the back wheel, onto a back sprocket, which you can see. It's a fixed gearing, which means that the bike has got no gearbox. So that means that when we do release the clutch at the start, all the power is going straight through the clutch out onto the back sprocket. It's so that the back sprockets can be changed between every race as to what situation the track and shale has got. It's a very simple built bike, as you can see. It's nothing like a road bike, or it's got no brakes. It's got only this cutout system, which we've got here, which is done so that if we do have a crash on the track, the engine is cut out straight away by pulling this out of the cutout system here. Here's the throttle, which is joined onto a 34mm carburetor, which injects the fuel, which is a methanol. We've got in the tank here. It's methanol and not petrol. That's flushed in through the carburation into the engine, and that's how we get the power through. And then we go onto the back wheel. As you can see, it's got a wider tire on than the front, and that's because we need to put all the horsepower and power through the back wheel onto the ground. And the tires, especially in World Championship rounds, is changed at each meeting after.
From, of course, Denmark. Well, a very important race for Hans Nielsen, Jan, isn't it?
He must win this one.
He's got to win this one to stay in the reckoning with all the other riders. And, of course, for Ronnie Corrie and for Jimmy Nielsen, the main aim is to get the points off of it. So the starting marshal just getting a little bit anxious with Hans Nielsen, who's doing an extra bit of guarding.
Hans Nielsen won the lane car.
The starting marshal's happy. The green light now goes on. And the second half of tonight's programme gets underway. It's Jimmy Nielsen gets a good gate from gate 2. Jimmy Nielsen in blue is in pole position. Hans Nielsen yellow and black down the back straight. Has he got the drive? Jimmy Nielsen blue, Hans Nielsen yellow. Jimmy Nielsen takes him out. Jimmy Nielsen is there in first position with 1 lap gone. Ronnie Corrie is now trying to put pressure on Hans Nielsen. But it's Jimmy Nielsen from Sweden who has so far dropped a few points but could come back very much in the reckoning if he can hold out Hans Nielsen in heat number 13. But Hans Nielsen's coming back right around the outside of Jimmy Nielsen. It's all action now as we look. Oh my word, it's getting very close out there. Jimmy Nielsen blue, Hans Nielsen in yellow and black. As they come out to take the flag for one more lap. Nielsen, Jimmy is in blue. Hans Nielsen yellow and black, Ronnie Corrie in red. It's going to be a tremendous last turn. Hans Nielsen checking the outside line. Is he going to come back? It's going to be Jimmy Nielsen that holds on. It's Jimmy Nielsen who wins. Hans Nielsen second. Ronnie Corrie back in third place. And Jan Andersson, your countryman is done you proud there.
Well, I think Jimmy did all that for pair, actually.
He did that for Perry Olsen, you're probably correct. Jimmy Nielsen from Sweden, he's the winner. Second place, Hans Nielsen. In third place, in red, was Ronnie Corrie. And one can only describe a couple of laps of this eventful heat number 13. Jimmy Nielsen in pole position. But my word, he had to work hard for this one, didn't he, Jan?
He has, but he's one of the toughest riders to get past. I mean, if he does see you on the outside, he will push you out. And Hans knows that. So he had to pick the right moment, had to get past, but he never find it.
At this stage, Hans decided the inside, didn't he?
Yes.
Decided not to go forward any further. Jimmy blocked him completely off, didn't he?
Yes.
A great and tremendous ride from Jimmy.
And of course, then when Jimmy see him coming on the outside, he will block that.
Yeah. There is one more lap to go. Now Hans switches again to the outside.
Yeah. And Jimmy senses it. He keep a fast inside line at bend.
And Ronnie Corrie's not all that far behind Jan either, is he?
No.
And this is the final two bends when Hans Nielsen has really got to give it all, hasn't
Yes.
he? And just look at Ronnie Corrie.
Yeah.
I mean, he can't afford to cut up the inside, can he?
Also,
coming out of the final two turns, Jimmy Nielsen's surely aware now that he's got it, and Hans Nielsen has to have his work cut out to keep Ronnie Corrie back in third place. But a great ride from Jimmy Nielsen, Jan.
Tremendous ride.
That puts him back in the reckoning. There we see heat number 13 with Jimmy Nielsen getting the 3 points. 2 to Hans Nielsen, 1 to Ronnie Corrie, none to Tony Casper. And really, it's got to be said, we could be looking at another world champion tonight, Jan Andersson.
It definitely seems like it now.
Because if Hans Nielsen was to win his last race,
put it on 12 points.
That's right.
And I don't think that's enough to win today.
Certainly doesn't look so. 3 from the US of A, Rick Miller. And on the outside, in yellow and black from England, Richard Knight. To be fair to this one, Jan, it's quite an open race if anybody could make the start, isn't it?
Yes, Richard Knight has looked fast, and also Castañas is a very open race. You have to work hard for this one.
You're just going to work hard for the points. Whoever's going to win, you're quite right indeed. So the 4 riders now at the start. Starting marshal watching them just do their traditional piece of gardening. Castaña will be the danger man to watch if he makes the trap, Jan, because no doubt you drive into that first turn.
I don't think anybody's going to pass Richard Knight if he should make the start either.
Well, as you say, if he's on an engine tune for Marvin Cox, no doubt the engine's set up for this very fast ultra circuit anyway, so it's got to be a good bet. So all questions will be answered in just a few seconds. The starting market is now happy for heat number 40. The way they drive from the start, Henrik Gustafsson lifts as he drives into the first turn. It's Castagna there first, and Richard Knight, and Gustafsson. And last is the rider in red, which is Rick Miller. Well, that is a bit of a surprise. Rick Miller's last at the moment, but just got Gustafsson sandwiched in between. Castagna red. In yellow and black is Richard Knight. Now, can Gustafsson make up any ground? Well, we mentioned that Castagna will be a danger man if he can make the start. And he's done just that. Still Richard Knight second, Gustafsson third. And surely with 2 laps gone, Gustafsson has got too much to do to take the checker flag in pole position. And Rick Miller, who's now beginning to make ground on Henrik Gustafsson. Amanda Castagna with 1 more lap to go. Gustafsson is lost third place to Rick Miller. So a little bit of a shame for the 20-year-old, but he's done us proud so far here at the Alto. Coming round to take the checker flag from Italy, it's Armando Castagna the win. Second place in yellow-black is Richard Knight. In third place is white is Rick Miller, and trailing home in last place, the sad figure of Henrik Gustafsson. And we have to say, Jan, our prediction of Armando Castagna being dangerous proved successful there, didn't it?
Yes, his bikes are one of the fastest bikes here tonight, I should think.
The last lap and a half of the race with Castagna in first place, Richard Knight second. At this stage, Gustafsson tends to drift out of the reckoning with Rick Miller overtaking him.
Yeah, I thought he had a puncture or something. He didn't get the drive.
Rick Miller not quite as impressive as his previous race.
No. Which puts him out of the contention, didn't it?
It certainly does indeed. And Amanda Castagna on the 3 points, and Richard Knight certainly not letting anybody down. Richard Knight, isn't he? Battling from his points and looking very, very good indeed.
Yes.
Must be very proud of himself in this World Final. Castagna waves to the crowd. What a character he is, Jan, isn't he?
Yes. I'm looking forward to ride with him on Monday.
I bet you are, of course. Castagna coming back to the Reading Forex races on Monday evening at Wolverhampton. And there we see the result of heat number 14. 3 points to Amanda Castagna, 2 points to Richard Knight, 1 to Rick Miller, and a 0 for Henrik Gustafsson, which Jan says puts him out of the reckoning at the moment for a pole position. Calvin Tatum in red in gate number 1, England. Zoltan Nador in Hungary in blue, gate 2. Zdeněk Tassar white, gate 3 from Czechoslovakia. And Roman Matusek in yellow-black Czechoslovakia in gate number 4.
I think Roman Matusek is out to prove something here. He wants to be the top Czech, so he's probably going to be a danger here.
I'd like to see Tassar make the gate and see if Tatum and Matusek can come from the back over him. It'd be interesting, wouldn't it?
Well, we will see here soon.
We will see here soon. Right to right indeed. The riders are on 2 minutes and now making their way to the start. And heat number 15 is about to get underway. Tonight's meeting, the 1990 World Individual Speedway Championship, coming live on Screensport. The best possible coverage of any two-wheeled event is always through the cameras of Screensport. Wherever there's motor racing, you can be sure that Screensport will be there. And when the Speedway season ends, don't leave your seats because the ice racing will follow very, very shortly. So a lot of gardening, a lot of tension over there. Riders not really in with a shout of gaining pole position, number 1, but just out to now get as many points as they can before the conclusion of tonight's meeting. Green lights on. And they get underway in heat number 15, and the first to show as expected was Calvin Tatum. Roman Matusek, and Ed Black gets up close to Tatum by word. Very close indeed. Tatum red, Matusek yellow-black. In blue is Zoltan Nador. But Matusek made life very, very uncomfortable for Tatum in that position. But Tatum rated by many is possibly the best hope for an English World Championship, but really has seen those chances disappear in the first half of tonight's meeting. 2 laps gone, Tatum first, Matusek second, Adorian third, and Tassar fourth, with 1 more lap to go. So Calvin Tatum coming back to the winning role, but sadly too late for any push for the pole position. Tatum round the 2 final bends of heat number 15 from England. Up in commentary, it's Calvin Tatum the win. Second place in yellow and black is Roman Matusek. Third in blue Also from Czechoslovakia is Zoltan Adorian. So my word, Calvin Tatum, as one predicted, Jan, has come back with a bang, but sadly too late for any chance of a pole position.
Well, he did what he should do in this race. And there again...
And then live weekend baseball will follow as soon as that's happened. But next on the agenda in this World Individual Speedway final is heat number 16. But first it's Calvin Tatum who takes the 3 points from heat 15. Matusek gets the 2 and Zoltan Adorian gets the 1. The result of the race before the interval. And now we go on to heat number 16. And Jan, it's one when a lot of questions are going to be answered. And I've got to ask you, Per Jönsson in gate 1, Todd Wiltshire gate 2. Is that good position to the Sweden? Is in gate 1. In blue, in gate 2 from Australia, Todd Wiltshire. In gate 3, in white from England, Martin Dugard. And on the outside, coming good after a shaky start from the US of A, gate 4, Sean Moran. So I've got to say that Sean Moran has looked very impressive on his 2 races, Jan, but also Per Jönsson has as well and Todd, so it's something he's got to give, hasn't it?
This is an open race. I mean, Per, if he makes the start from the inside, I don't think anybody will get past him. But there again, Sean is going to be hard to pass. And maybe Todd surprise us and jump out the start and win the race.
Because if Todd is going to gate at all tonight, which he has done in his first ride, this is going to be one of his most important races, isn't it?
Yes.
So then the starting marshal calling in all 4 riders for what must surely be one of the most important heats of the 1990 World Individual Speedway Championship. And let's look now, as the green light's just about to go on. There it goes on. The tapes are about to rise on heat number 16. Away they start, and it is Per Jönsson who's there. Jönsson and Todd Wiltshire. Sean Moran in yellow and black on the outside, but it's Per Jönsson who's there, and Sean Moran drives up the inside. Sean Moran, Per Jönsson, and Todd Wiltshire's there as well. They're all very close, but Sean Moran has done it. Sean Moran has made the move, and now all of a sudden Per Jönsson's back on it. My word, what a great ride from Per as Sean comes back. There's not an eighth of paper between the 2 of them. As Sean comes through again and Per's back with him. 2 laps gone. Sean Moran in yellow and black. Per Jönsson red, Todd Wiltshire blue. Martin Dugard is back in white in 4th place. Sean Moran was always going to be a danger. Sean Moran looks over his shoulder, sees where Per Jönsson is. Per's gone out in the dirt, Sean Moran's gone out in the 2, and then Per Jönsson drives up the inside of Sean Moran. Has he got the speed to do it? Sean Moran on the outside, Per Jönsson on the inside, but Sean Moran is going to win. 2nd place is Per Jönsson, 3rd place in blue is Todd Wiltshire. So the tiny man from California has done it. Sean Moran has got the 3 points. Per Jönsson has got the 2, and 1 point to Todd Wiltshire back in 3rd place, and Martin Dugard is last. So there we are. Per Jönsson on the inside. Todd Wiltshire's with him at this stage. Now Sean Moran's got the grit, hasn't he?
Yes. He got some tremendous speed out there.
Yeah, Sean Moran on the inside. Per now trying to cut back. At this stage, Todd was back in the reckoning, but then faded. And with 1 lap gone, then
here
come
back again.
Tremendous ride there at that stage.
Yes, but Sean turned back again and got past him down that straight. But there again, I thought Per would be able to hold that one. He was first there into the bend, but Sean managed to push his way through.
So you see from the start, who was to get the best start? It was indeed Per got the drop. Todd was 2nd at that stage, but just look at Sean Moran.
Well, does that mean Per and Sean are the same points now?
Yeah, it does indeed. It means as though we could well predict a run-off at the end of the night. They've both got another ride to have, of course, and anything can happen. And we look down to see who Sean Moran has got. He's only got Hans Nielsen in his last ride. Nothing too serious, is it? Yeah.
And I don't think Sean will win that one.
No. So it's a lot to be rode for still, but what a race yet again for the connoisseur, to be honest, Jan, wasn't it?
Well, wasn't it the best race tonight?
I think it was, because although we've seen some clashes and darts to the line, that one for the connoisseur of speedway action was the best so far, wasn't it?
Oh, yes.
Sean Moran knew just where Per Jönsson was, and Per Jönsson knew just where Sean Moran was. Excellent speedway. So there we are, Jan, after heat number 16. 2 riders on 10 points, both got 2, Per Jönsson and Sean Moran. 2 on 9, Todd Wiltshire and Hans Nielsen. And 4 on 8, Rick Miller, Jimmy Nielsen, Henrik Gustafsson and Calvin Tatum. It really is remarkably close, Jan, isn't it? The USA, he's in blue. Gate 3 in white from America, Sean Moran, and on the outside, Henrik Gustafsson from Czechoslovakia. Now, he could be a little bit of a mixer here, Jan, if he could make the start.
I don't think he will do somehow. This is going to be between Hans and Sean, surely.
Here we go then. Jan Andersson prediction is red and white. And it is Hans Nielsen and Sean Moran. And Sean Moran has got there. Sean Moran from America has got there. Hans Nielsen second. And Rick Miller third. And Rick Miller now coming up on Hans Nielsen. Well, Sean Moran, showy as he's known in the speedway circles, is hit the front. There, Hans Nielsen has got to do some more work from the back. He's quite capable of doing that, but we wonder whether it is going to be Sean Moran or Per Jonsson's year of the world title race, and Hans Nielsen will have to wait for another season. 2 laps gone, and Sean Moran really is setting his sights for home. Hans Nielsen is trailing in the wake and not really making up too much ground at the moment. Rick Miller tailed off in 3rd place, and we've lost Henrik Gustafsson. So with 1 more lap to go, it's going to need a miracle cure from Hans Nielsen to pull this one out of the fire. He's tried the wide outside line to try and make out a bit of ground, but he's left it perhaps a little bit too late. Coming out of the turn in wide, it's going to be Sean Moran for the Yorkshire win. Hans Nielsen in 2nd place, Rick Miller 3rd. And a race perhaps not for the connoisseur, but for the trackman, for the connoisseur of gating and for track skill. Sean Moran takes the 3 points from the checker flag. Hans Nielsen gets 2. He knows that 1990 now is not his year. And of course, back in 3rd place was Rick Miller also.
Next week, the World Team Cup qualify. He's in a tremendous form. He's riding well, better than ever.
So 3 points for Sean Moran, 2 for Hans Nielsen, 1 for Rick Miller. That's the result of heat number 17. Join us back at Oslo. Here we are, the riders at the line then for heat number 18. Per Jonsson, Sweden, in red, gate 1. Amando Castagna, Italy, blue, gate 2. Ronnie Corrie, America, white, gate 3. And Calvin Tatum, England, yellow and black, gate 4. This is heat number 18 of the 1990 World Individual Speedway Final, which is coming to you live on the cameras at Scrensport. The riders doing their traditional dig-in to get the maximum amount of traction as those tapes fire up. And as you quite rightly say, Ronnie Corrie in gate number 3 will be desperately trying to help Sean Moran now. If he can block out Per at all, he will do, won't he?
He will. I don't know about Castagna. He's the teammate to Per now. If he will try to help Per, I don't know.
All questions will be answered in a relatively short space of time. As Castagna now comes in to gate number 2. Certainly Per Jonsson was up with Sean Moran, more so than Hans Nielsen was in heat number 16 and heat number 17. So it's got to be said that those two are perhaps a little bit a class above the rest at the moment, but all questions will be answered if there's going to be a run-off after this particular race. The green light's on, and away they fire from the start, and it is the rider in red. Per Jonsson is there first. Per Jonsson red, Amanda Castagna blue, Ronnie Corrie white and yellow and black, Calvin Tatum. But it's Per Jonsson from Sweden who's got the bit between his teeth. 1 lap gone, Jonsson leads Castagna, Tatum 3rd, Ronnie Corrie 4th. Now Castagna going out in the dirt, but he can't afford to make a mistake. Certainly Amando Castagna is certainly starting to get the points in the latter half of this meeting, but now Tatum trying to make another challenge on him with 2 laps gone. Still Jonsson, Castagna out in the dirt, Tatum on the inside, just can't find a way through past Castagna, which his course is giving. Per Jonsson breathing space. 1 lap to go. Per Jonsson leads rather. Amanda Castagna 2nd. Calvin Tatum 3rd. Ronnie Corrie 4th. But the Swedish flags are flying at the moment. It's coming around the final turn. It's going to be Sweden's Per Jonsson that wins. Amanda Castagna 2nd. Calvin Tatum 3rd. And Ronnie Corrie 4th. So Sweden's Per Jonsson now. That 3 points means there's going to be a run-off. So don't leave your seats, ladies and gentlemen. Don't put the kettle on, because Scrensport's going to be with you a bit longer. As Per Jonsson gets the 3 points. Amanda Castagna gets 2 good points in 2nd place. 13 points, Jan. So yes, yet again, it's an interesting prospect, isn't it?
It's going to be very interesting.
In gate 3 in white from Sweden is Henrik Gustafsson. And in yellow and black on the outside in gate 4 is Todd Wiltshire. Well, something got to give in this one. Todd Wiltshire knows he needs a point, so does Jimmy Nielsen, so does Henrik Gustafsson. So really they are the men to watch. And throw in Zoltan Nadorian as well. We could be in for yet another interesting battle. Is Scrensport bringing you live coverage of the 1990, the climax now to the 1990 World Championships. A tournament which started way back in Australia in January and now concludes, and the climax is here in Bradford on Saturday, September the 1st. And the script writers surely couldn't have got it any better. We're set for a run-off for first place, and we could even have one for the minor places as well. But that will all be answered after the next two heats. But this is heat number 19. The starting marshal getting a little bit anxious with Henrik Gustafsson and Todd Wiltshire and Jimmy Nielsen. They now come into the line. Now it's the turn of Zoltan Nadorian to go back. Starting marshal is now happy. The green light goes on. And away they drive from the start. And the first one to show is Zoltan Nadorian. And Todd Wiltshire. Todd Wiltshire drives round the back on the first and second turn. It's Wiltshire in pole position. Zoltan Nadorian second. Jimmy Nielsen third. Henrik Gustafsson fourth. So Todd Wiltshire, Speedy Todd as he's known, of course down in Berkshire where he races for the 4X racers. Zoltan Nadorian still second and holding on. Jimmy Nielsen trying to mount up ground in blue and now cuts underneath Zoltan Nadorian. He's now through to second place. Henrik Gustafsson back in fourth. 1.5 laps to go in an eventful heat number 19. With yellow and black, with one more lap to go, it's Todd Wiltshire. Jimmy Nielsen in blue second. Zoltan Nadorian third in red. But it's Speedy Todd from Australia comes down the final two bends. It's going to be a win for Australia. Todd Wiltshire the wins. Jimmy Nielsen second. And it's a race for the line in third place to see who got there. But that really doesn't make no difference. It's Todd Wiltshire from Australia who concludes his first ever world final appearance with a win.
I think they've done quite well. I would just like to see Martin Dugard win this one. He's the most likeable little chap.
So there we go, heat number 20, Roman Matusek red, gate 1 from Czechoslovakia. Gate 2 in blue, Tony Casper, Czechoslovakia. Gate 3, England, Richard Knight. In white and yellow and black on the outside from England is Martin Dugard. So 2 England and 2 from Czechoslovakia. Sort of a test match here, Jan, you could say England versus Czechoslovakia.
Yes.
Well, the world media collect at Oslo Stadium on Saturday, September the 1st for what has been one of the most entertaining world finals for many, many years. We look back, of course, at the great Bruce Pennell era of 1981 at Wembley. But I have to say that some of the racing here at Oslo has been just as exciting. This is Marshall now walks away, the green light's on. And away they drive, and the rider in white was left, which was Richard Knight. Oh my word, it's very tight first turn. But it's Martin Dugard in yellow and black who's managed to get enough grip. Of course, he's sponsored by good old Charlie Dugard down there in Eastbourne, the Shane Tolls experts. Martin Dugard in yellow and black, red is Roman Matusek, and of course in blue is Anton Casper. But now Richard Knight coming under Casper. Knight would like to finish with some points here, and also he's come through to third place. Can he mount up any ground on Roman Matusek? Still it is good old Martin Dugard from Roman Matusek. Richard Knight third, and Tony Casper back in fourth place. So the checker flag is out poised, ready for the riders as they cross the line. There's going to be a win for England's Martin Dugard as he comes out the checker flag. It's Dugard that wins. Second place. For first place between Sweden's Per Jonsson and America's Sean Moran. They both tie on 13. Todd Wiltshire in his first ever World Championship final finishes in third place on 12 points. The current world champion, or he was until today, Hans Nielsen, finishes in fourth place on 11. Jimmy Nielsen is fifth on 10. Rick Miller, Henrik Gustafsson and Kelvin Tatum all finish on 9 points. Then it's Armando Castagna from Italy on 8, who rode exceptionally well, it's fair to say. Richard Knight also in his first road final with Martin Dugard, 7 and 6 respectively. Roman Matusek 5, Zoltan Adorian 2, Ronnie Corrie very disappointed indeed on 2, Zdenek Tassar 2, and Tony Casper on 2 points. Final, the world champion, and it's Per Jönsson red and Sean Moran in white. Starting marshal says he's not happy. He wants Jönsson to move over. So, well, it's the starting marshal, of course, is in charge, but it's concentration. These two guys have got to be fully alert for when those tapes go up. And let's hope the starting marshal is quite right. So now here we go then, the green light goes on. And the sights rise, and who is it? It's going to get there first? It's Jönsson who makes the first turn. Per Jönsson of Sweden is there first. Sean Moran is second from America. So red is Per Jönsson. Per Jönsson, Sweden, and of course the red in 4X racers. Sean Moran from America, and of course the Valmu Aces. 1 lap gone. Oh my word, you just can't hear yourself think for the drone that goes round this Hunsel Stadium. Jönsson win red. Moran in white with 2 laps gone. Per Jönsson, the 24-year-old from Stockholm in Sweden, who's been so close. Jan Andersson just can't bear to watch. Just 1 more lap to go for Per Jönsson for an ambition, a dream which he dreamt of as a boy back in Stockholm. The dream of being world champion is now becoming a reality. As Per Jönsson goes into the final 2 turns of this runoff, and it's going to be Per Jönsson from Sweden to win. Jönsson takes the checkered flag. Second place is Sean Moran. Third place, of course, is Todd Wiltshire. But my word, the 24-year-old from Stockholm in Sweden, he's done the business. He's kept his cool when all before him have lost theirs. He's coming round for a victory parade. And what can we say about him? He's done it the hard way. He's come from the back on several occasions and some breathtaking racing. Jan Andersson, sum up your feelings.
Well, I'm speechless. I'm so happy for Per, and I'm glad myself because I did prepare his engine for tonight. So I feel like a world champion myself almost.
Well, congratulations deserved to Jan Andersson for that as well. But just listen to the crowd. They're going absolutely crazy for these two riders. Per Jönsson from Sweden is the 1990 World Individual Speedway Champion on 13 points. Sean Moran comes second, also on 13 points after what can only be described as a dramatic runoff. And Todd Wiltshire from Australia is on 3rd points on 12. Let's take another look, Jan, at the start of the runoff. Per and, at that moment, Sean together. That Per drives into that bend, doesn't he?
Yes, and he kept that inside because he knew Sean was going to swap back on him. And of course after that, Per was just gone. Sean couldn't keep up with him.
Here we see Per Jönsson in the pits with Henrik Gustafsson and all the mechanics and all the riders who worked.
Statek powietrzny próbował sił nocą. Wyłącznie silnika